Good morning, grade 10s. Welcome to lesson 4 of Finders Keepers, and I'm going to be reading chapter 3 to you this morning. So I am hoping that you've been able to look at chapter 1 and 2's questions and that you've answered them. I would imagine that there are some of you that are battling with a few of those questions. Try your best. We will get back to them. I'm going to try and read chapter 1 to the end of chapter 4 to you, and then come back and mark them with you with the memo so that you can fill in details as we've read about them. So I'm starting immediately then with chapter 3, and we know that Lufuno is now in the classroom at Victory High on her first day. She has met the Cindy girl. Do we like Cindy? And she's met Mandla, and I think we're going to like him. And then she's met a friend called Norki. But let's go to chapter 3. Follow carefully as I read it to you, please. The prefab classroom is bursting at the seams with grade 11s in all shapes and sizes. Skinny and plump, square and long as beanpoles. There is Mandla. He's already sitting in the back row when I come in. He has my bracelet, but he doesn't even look up as I stand there awkwardly wondering where I can sit. He's chatting to a boy next to him. There, Cindy, with her followers in the second row from the back. She's got the best seats in the house to view me, the newcomer, on the big screen. I'm a good show for them. Pity no popcorn, only chewing gum. They sit with their legs stretched out under their desks. Skirts high, socks low, rolled down to show as much leg as possible. I must have the longest skirt in the entire class, thanks to my mother. In the front of the class are the earnest, hard-working girls and boys, or the ones the teacher wants to keep an eye on. A couple of them are already asleep, their heads resting on folded arms, bored and lethargic, tired, lacking in energy, and the day hasn't even begun. And then there's me, standing awkwardly, searching for a chair and a space at a desk. It's hot and stuffy inside the classroom, and it's hard to breathe. Outside, the wind is blowing the leaves of a scraggly tree bent like an old woman by the relentless, without stopping, persistent southeast wind that blows in off the sea. Notice how Lufuno here is focusing on what's outside. She's looking outside. She's not looking in the classroom. I feel my chest closing up and try to focus on the outside world, not at the sea of faces staring at me. Out there, a bird lands on the spikes on a barbed wire fence and wobbles there before taking off again, unable to keep its balance in the wind. I hear the women in the street laughing and shouting at each other in greetings as they walk to catch the taxi. In those seconds, time slows down and stretches. Then I look at Mandla and see an empty chair in front of him. I move towards it and am about to sit down when Cindy pulls it away from me. "That's taken," she says, then blows a pink chappie's bubble. It makes a smacking sound as it pops, and just then a girl pushes past me and, with a self-satisfied look, plonks herself down in the chair. Here I am, new girl, without a seat, without a clue, without a plan. The noise of chatting dies down when the teacher walks into the classroom. I turn to see a short, round woman with glasses. Grade 10, stop thinking she looks like me. Especially that round woman part. I turn to see a short, round woman with glasses and a no-nonsense look on her face. That's definitely not me, because I've got a happy, chubby little grinning face. She's holding a pile of books like a shield in front of her, as if she's going into battle. She smiles at me briefly. I'm not sure if she's going to be kind and strict or just be strict. "You must be the new girl," she says. "Lufuno Mu..." She battles to pronounce my surname. "Mukwevu," I say quickly. "Right," she says as she puts the pile of books down on the table in front of the blackboard. "Cindy, can you move your seat over? We can fit in another chair next to you." "Ha, there's no room, miss," Cindy says, trying to sound distressed and upset. "Cindy, I can see there's a space. Move up," says the teacher. Cindy scrapes her chair 1/2 centimeter to the left and sighs. Here, Lufuno, take my chair, the teacher says. Then Mandla stands up. Miss, there's another chair here. You don't have to give yours up. He pulls a chair out from behind his desk. The teacher looks surprised. Cindy mutters something to the girl next to her in the row. Cindy, if you can't be quiet, you'll have to leave this class, the teacher says. Now you've been warned. I'm only interested in those who are interested in learning. The rest of you are wasting my time. I think of the English teacher I had in Josie. His pastime is to waste time, Dudu always said. Thank you, Mandla. The teacher smiles as he hands me the chair. You're very chivalrous. Definition of chivalrous, anybody? She looks around the class, but everyone stares at her blankly. One eager boy shoots up his hands, obviously the class brain box. Chivalrous, adjective. To be polite and show respect for other people, especially women. He sounds like he's competing in a spelling bee. You all know spelling bee is that competition where they give children at school a word and they have to spell it, and you go from one level to the next until you're the region's winner of the spelling bee. So this little boy that explains the meaning of the word chivalrous sounds like he's at a spelling bee, and he explains that chivalrous is polite, to show respect for people, other people, especially women. You're a walking dictionary. The teacher laughs good-humoredly. I can see she's proud of him, and I can see Cindy and the girls rolling their eyes. Their dictionary is reserved for insults. I never thought I'd use the words mandla and chivalrous in the same breath, the teacher says, raising her eyebrows, amused. Perhaps, Mr. Nkosi, you are turning over a new leaf? So now we learn, grade 10s, that Mandla's surname is Nkosi, hey? Perhaps, Mr. Nkosi, you are turning over a new leaf? That's an oxymoron, says the brain box. Mandla and chivalry, two opposites, sitting side by side, we call it an oxymoron. So there's a figure of speech for you to remember, please. When you have two opposites, so it could be part of the comparison figures of speech, two opposites sitting next to each other, Mandla and chivalry. So now we're reading that Mandla is not always very polite to everybody, hey? And the brain box says that's an oxymoron. Huh, just a moron, says another boy near him and bursts out laughing at his own jokes. Okay, now to call somebody a moron is you're actually insinuating that they're stupid. Enough, says the teacher, before things get out of hand. The teacher asks me to stand up again. I feel angry and humiliated for having to be me right now. I can see Mandla smiling encouragingly. He has my bracelet between his fingers and he's playing with it as if to tease me, to taunt me. Like a magic trick, it appears and it disappears and it appears. Now you see it, now you don't. Oh, I wish I could disappear. All eyes are on me, and I want to sink through the concrete floor, to fly out of the classroom and up into the blue sky outside the window. I want to fly back to my grandmother's home and find her there, bent over in her vegetable garden, waiting for me. Lufuno, would you like to tell the class a bit about yourself? The teacher asks now. No would be the right answer, even though it's... No would not be the right answer, even though it's on my lips. My name is Lufuno Mkwevu. I stop right there, but the teacher was waiting for more. I take a deep breath. What kind of name is that? I hear Cindy say. It means love, I say, and the heat rushes to my cheeks. I feel like I'm being judged in this classroom. It's like a courtroom. The class erupts and the teacher slams a book on the desk for order. When the class is quietened down, she says, go on, it's a beautiful name. Where is it from? It's a Tshivenda name, I add quickly. What? Is that even part of South Africa? Says Cindy under her breath. Okay, now I come back to this. Now she's telling us more about Venda. Remember, she's here, right in the south of South Africa, and Venda's right at the top in Limpopo. And now Cindy sort of gives away her own lack of of knowledge. And she asks, she says, really? Is that place even in South Africa? Is that even part of South Africa, says Cindy under her breath. Are you not going to greet Lufuno? The teacher asks the class. Welcome to our class, Lufuno Makwera, Cindy says softly, enough that the teacher does not hear her, but just loud enough that I do. And we know that a Makwera is somebody that comes from another country. But it's a slang word, it's a horrible term to call somebody that. Cindy and her friends will be making me feel anything but welcome, I think. I look around at the rest of the class before I sit down. There are friendly faces too. One of them belongs to the girl sitting next to me. She gives me a shy smile and shifts her chair so that I can share her desk. When the teacher asks us to open our English textbooks and start on question 4, she helps me to find my place on the page. Still, I'm too nervous to follow properly. I copy notes from the board, but it feels like someone else's hand is forming the letters. And I can feel Mandla behind me every time he moves or shifts his chair. How am I going to get my bracelet back? Then the siren goes for the first break, and chairs are scraped back as everyone pushes out to the freedom of the quad and the latest gossip flying around in the warm spring air. I look for Mandla, but he's nowhere to be seen. I stand dazed, searching for Norki, but I can't see her anywhere either. Even the kind girl who sits next to me in class smiles at me apologetically, as though she's asking my permission not to hang out with me. Then she hesitates, but then the pull from her friends is too strong, and she gravitates. She pulls towards them, where they're sitting chatting. Perhaps Norki has thought twice about her promise to seek me out at break, and I don't blame her. I try my best to pass the time until the bell goes without looking like I'm at a loose end. I spend a long time in the toilet, then I go back to the class, and I sit in the empty room paging through the life sciences book, not really reading the words. I feel unbearably self-conscious. Now, when you're self-conscious, you feel that everybody's looking at you. You know what it's like if you suddenly arrive at school and your shoe breaks. It's as if everybody's noticed that your shoe's broken. You're walking around with a broken shoe. When in actual fact, nobody really cares. Nobody's even seen it. She's the new girl and she feels like everybody's watching her. But probably nobody is. After break, we are divided into pairs for an English exercise. I am paired with Mandla. Of course she is. I'm paired with Mandla. We are the extras when everyone else is already paired up. I side my chair around to share his desk. Where's my bracelet? I ask him. I'll give it to you later, I promise, but I don't know if I can trust him. I wonder where he's hidden it. There's no sign of it now. Here, he says, turning the textbook so that we can read the questions together. You start. I read the question out. Match the words with their definition. And the first word is, he prompts me, euphemism, I say. And the answer is, he's teasing me now. You know the answer, don't you? I say. It's obvious that he does. Maybe I do. So what's the answer then? Euphemism. Euphemism is a word or an expression used in place of one that may be found offensive or suggests something unpleasant, he writes. All right, grade 10, so there we have the definition of euphemism, and that's exactly what euphemism means. It's when you use a non-offensive term for something that could be seen as offensive. Like if you call somebody fat, that's ugly, you shouldn't do that. Rather say they well-rounded or plump. Give a good word, don't use an ugly word such as fat. When somebody is dead, you don't say the person died last night. You say the person passed away last night. And that then is called euphemism. I write down the word and the definition. Example, he adds. Cindy is, what shall I say, challenging. So here we have Mandla using an example for euphemism as Cindy being challenging. I stare at him and then we burst out laughing. Sharing a joke with him feels good, and I begin to trust that he will give my bracelet back. So so you from Venda via Josie, he says. And you from the Eastern Cape via direct, he laughs. 10 hours by taxi. All right, so now we see why I had Eastern Cape highlighted here. And we know that somewhere in the Eastern Cape, that is where Mandla is from, and it takes him 10 hours to get from wherever he is, wherever he lives, wherever his hometown is, to Cape Town where he goes to school. We don't know why. We'll find out later. So he says, so you from Venda via Josie, from Venda via Josie to Cape Town. And she says, yes. Are you from the Eastern Cape via? And he says, no, I go directly. 10 hours by taxi. We talk softly, so no one can tell we aren't discussing the answers. Cindy, at her desk in front of me, is drawing a heart on her page. I see her draw an arrow through the center. She presses so hard, I think she's going to rip the paper. An arrow she wishes to shoot right into my heart, I think. Victorious, Mandla says, but the word isn't on the page. That's what our soccer team will be when we win the game on Saturday. You should come and watch us play. It's going to be great, he says. All right, great teams. That then was chapter 3. So we have got to know Mandla a little better now. We know that he comes from the Eastern Cape, and we know that he's soccer crazy. So he invites her to come and watch a game that he's going to be playing in on Saturday. We've also met this very irritating girl called Cindy. I don't know if you feel the same. I don't think I like her. And we know that she's obviously quite smitten, quite taken by, she would probably say, quite in love with Mandla. And because of that, she absolutely hates Lufuno, because Lufuno now is getting Mandla's attention. And that could be quite annoying for our little Cindy. All right, let's have a look and see what the questions are in chapter 3. So I'm going to ask you, like with all questions, whenever you're doing any form of question work, you need to use your mark allocation as a guide to the length of your answer. And there are a lot of marks given here. There's a question worth 8 marks. There's a question worth 6 marks, one worth 3 marks, and then quite a few worth 1 and 2. So use your mark allocation as the guide to how long your answer is going to be. And then look at your working word. What job do they want you to do? Like in chapter 2, they say draw a table with 2 columns. Describe in question 3. Question 5, quote. Ha, did you do it? Did you all say quote? Let me see your bunny ears. Quote. Come on, all of you. Quote. I can see you not doing quoting with your bunny ears. Come, great teams. Quote in question 5. And then give a definition, question 7. So use the working words. All right. Question 1. Would you say the teenagers are very critical of each other? Motivate your answer for 2 marks. Now, you know teenagers. You can decide, are they critical? Do they criticize each other? I know what I would say there. Number 2, draw a table with 2 columns and identify 4 differences between Lufuno and Cindy. And that's quite, I don't know why I said that should be 2. I would have made that a lot more. So give a lot of attention to question 2, where you give a difference between Lufuno and Cindy. Question 3, describe each of the concepts listed below with relevance to Victory High School. Look at the buildings, the upkeep, the class sizes. So what you need to do here is you need to put Victory High School, and so your heading will be Victory High School, subheading buildings, and then write a little bit about it. Upkeep, classes. What were you going to say about upkeep? Upkeep, you're going to say something like the I in Victory High is missing. Nobody's replaced it. Question 4. Would you say that Victory High School is a true reflection of what a South African high school is really like? Is the setting authentic, realistic, and accurate? Motivate your answer. The setting of the school. Now, grade 10s, having your reference framework being Hoërskool Oosterlig and Baanbreek or Elspark or whichever school you came from, you're going to battle to answer that question. But living in the time where we are now, a lot of photos are coming through of what it's really, and images, and a lot of thoughts are coming through to us once again of what the whole of South Africa's education system looks like. So you might here want to use do a little bit of research and find out if the setting of Victory High is realistic. It's worth 6 marks. Make an effort there. Question 5, quote the line from chapter 3 where the teacher proves that she's not very inclusive in her classroom. Put yourself in the teacher's shoes and try to explain why she has this attitude. So your 1 mark is going to be where we are told that the teacher doesn't really care about everybody in the classroom. And then you're asked to put yourself in the teacher's shoes, and can you understand why she is? All right. Then you can look at question 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, but I want to look quickly at the bottom here. Every time you get questions, it says below are some of the important themes found in the novel, in this little block. Identify the themes you feel are present in the chapter. Write a short sentence or paragraph on the relevance of each. So we've looked here at, is there poverty and unemployment? Is there bullying? At this stage, you can just tick them, and if you want to write something about them, you can. All right, grade 10s, we are now 21 minutes, almost 22 minutes into this lesson. So I am going to end it there for today. Thank you very, very much. I hope you are enjoying these lessons, even though they might be quite boring. I'm really sorry. There's no other way I can do it. So until we meet again, good morning and thank you, everybody. And the girls can go and the boys can follow. I won't meet you tomorrow, but I know we'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Thank you.